Hey there guys and gals, just a quick one before we begin. Thank you so much for watching this guide. If it helps or if you enjoy it, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share with a friend as well. Huge shout out as well to all my Patreon supporters and YouTube members, so thank you so much. Also, if you enjoy the dark side of gaming, which involves controversies with streamers and studios, murder and more, check out my podcast called Gaming's Darker Side. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. So thank you so much, and now, on with the good stuff. And here is the good stuff then, in the terms of what comes after. Now, this was developed by Rolling Glory Jam and Fahmitsu. It was published by Flynn's Arcade, and it's usually available for £6.69 or $7.99. So this is basically a little side-scrolling adventure. It's a bit of a heartwarming, emotional story about learning how to love yourself. So that's always nice. Sometimes, in this world of absolute crap, I think that is needed sometimes. A bit of self-love. And I mean, metaphorically, not just physically, of course. Achievements are generally easy enough. We've just got a lot of speaking to do with some characters. But we do... There may be one or two that you may miss. But again, it's very, very easy, so I'll let you know when we get there. So, generally take about 25 to 30 minutes or so, something like that. So, well... With that being said then, let's do it. We begin a new game. Now, again, like I said, a lot of these are story related, but there may be one that you might miss, and that is for, basically, you have to speak to a bunch of animals a little bit later on in the game. And you've got to speak to those animals twice in order to give them a little strokey stroke pet. So if you didn't realise that you had to do that, you could actually miss that. So as we begin then, what we're going to do, we're going to get the first achievement called Eavesdropper. And to do that, we're going to head all the way to the left. You can press B button to walk slightly faster. Now, to get the Eavesdropper, a lot of people, especially on Steam, had been saying that it's a bit glitchy or this, that, the other. It's not. So what you do is you can't skip the conversations. What you need to do is go... Obviously, like I said, we're going to start all the way to the left, and you just need to wait until their dialogue box completely finishes. So as you go to the next one here, so take your time, keep walking to the right until we find... So every time you see another dialogue box, just wait until... It's not a very long conversation, so you don't have to wait for too long, but you have to wait until it's finished. Once the text box disappears, then you can continue on to the right over to the next one. So that's what we're going to be doing all the way till we get to the right-hand side of the train. So you can't skip it. If you move or you come back to the specific character for whatever reason, you have to wait until their dialogue box finishes again. So we're just going to take our time with this one. And yeah, so we sort of, yeah, it is a bit pretty emotional. It doesn't get very heartwarming emotional now. But in just a little bit, it does. But that's what we're all going to be doing for the time being then. So just continue heading all the way to the right-hand side of the train. Going through, if it's only one box they've got, if it's only one thing they say, as long as the text box disappears, it means that you're good. And you can just continue on to the right. So keep going all the way to the right until the achievement unlocks. You're going to see an exclamation point in a minute. Don't sit on this exclamation point. That will end this section. It might be very tempting and easy to just press the A button here, but don't do it. Just continue heading to the right until we get the achievement, and then we can come back to the left and sit down on the seat. And there it is then. So now we can go ahead and sit on the seat, but I think a lot of people were having problems with it because they were either going too fast and they didn't let the whole conversation play out or something like that. But anyway, it's what we do. She's going for a cheeky little snoozy snappy snaps. And it's going to be a whole other thing. It's Ghost Cat! We're going in for Toastbusters right now. Anyway, we'll get the next achievement here, the very last train. Story related, so you don't need to worry about that. But basically, for the next... I mean, this is basically the game now. Now, obviously, I would, just for the state of the guide, I'm obviously just going to be blasting through all of the dialogue, which we can do here. And from now on, whatever characters we talk to, we can just blast through the dialogue. We don't have to listen to all of it. Because some of them do get long, because we're on a ghost train. Babe, we're on a ghost train. Just getting my my inner Aussie out then. Ozzy Osbourne, as it were. But anyway, yeah, so effectively what we're going to do is just go from carriage to carriage, and we're just going to keep talking with whoever we can talk to. And that will unlock a whole bunch of different achievements. Plus, speaking to certain people will get us to speak to other people a little bit earlier on down the train, later on down the train, which gets us another achievement as well. So that's effectively what we're going to be doing for the rest of the game. Now, like I said, we're going to speak to old Potato Head right here. There she is. She genuinely looks like one of those jacket potatoes that's been left in the oven for a bit too long. Especially with the shape and size of it. But anyway. So, as I said, just for the state of the guide, we're obviously going to be blasting through the dialogue, but I do implore you to actually, some of the stories do get very emotional, especially if you've had something like it happen to you as well. So obviously we're on a ghost train, these are where people have died, so they're basically going to tell you their stories about how they died, and some of them get pretty intense actually. So I do implore you to actually read some of the stories if you want. So what we're going to do then, we're just going to start off with the left-hand side. We have to speak to anyone who has an exclamation mark above their head. So there should be 5 ghosts on this train that you need, on this carriage that you need to speak to.
Huh?
There you go. Once you've spoken to all 5 people and gotten past air fryer, stuck in the oven, jacket potato head, in this next carriage there should be 9 ghosts that we can speak to. So again, I think it should be pretty much everyone that you can speak to. But again, you can either just blast through the game if you want. But again, I do highly recommend you actually look at their stories, because some of them are a bit mental.
Yo, yo, yo.
So now we're coming up to a new room, a new dining cart room. Nice. Basically, there are 5 ghosts that we are going to speak to on here, so you can't really miss this one. Just speak to all 5.
Hi. Hi. Huh?
So we are going to be coming up to another achievement now. So we're going to speak to this woman on the left, and then the next person on the right, you ain't going to be prepared for, but you need to speak to him anyway. Oh yes, it is Baby. Now, again, this conversation is a lot longer than the ones we've gone through so far, so I think you'll have... If you do want to read the story, of course, it'll give you a deep understanding, of course, of what happened to the baby, but otherwise, this one is actually exceptionally sad. So I decided to just skip through the dialogue, because I don't want to cry. So next up, to impound that sadness, we have a bunch of animals that we now need to speak to. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier on. This is pretty much the only achievement that you might miss. Whereas some of these, in fact, I think it's only the owl and something else that you can't pet. But basically, you have to speak to all of the animals, of course. And then the cats and dogs, if you interact with them again, you will actually be able to pet them. And that is what we need for the ghost with, no, was it Love Knows No Bounds achievement. So there we go. Once you've finished speaking to them, make sure to pet every single animal. Not everyone does it though. You can't actually pet the owl or the monkey. So speak to every animal and just make sure to give them all a good pet. So there we go. So again, make sure you've spoken to the owl, the monkey, the 2 cats, the 2 dogs, and you've given the 4 out of 6 animals here a pet. So that'll be the cat, the dog, and the little kitten and the other dog. So make sure that you've petted those 4. Again, we'll be coming back to the left anyway, so you'll have to go through that bit again anyway. But just better to do it now. So again, this is just going to be a case of you're going to have to speak to some spores and some trees and stuff. So anything you walk past with an exclamation mark, give it a chat. So this is where we're actually going to get the Love Knows No Bounds achievement as well, because we can actually now interact with the elephant twice to give the elephant a little hug on its trunk. And that is what will get us the basically shown affection. So we petted all the dogs and stuff earlier. Now we're going to give my old elephant trunk a little self-tender care and love. And there we go. You will also get the Ghost Whisperer achievement as well for talking to all of the ghosts on the train. So that should be 2 achievements. Once that is done, we can now head over to the right, press the A button to sit on the swing to have a talk with the giant old tree. Okay, so with that tree done, now we're going to head all the way to the left, where we're going to basically, when we get back to the dining cart, there's going to be a new character for us to speak to, and we're going to get another achievement for speaking to him as well. So, with that, we've done a lot of talking, we've done a lot of eating. Although, hey, free meal, bro, that's what we like. We like that free meal. But now we're just going to head all the way back to the starting location of the ghost train. Sit down, and then we are going to wake up back on the alive train, as it were. Past the old lumpy Mrs. Potato Head. Oh my god! Mrs. Potato Head! You're alive? Although you kind of look more like... testy cheeks right there, with the mask on. So, kind of like Snoopy. Anyway, so this is all what we're going to basically do now is just finish up the game here. There's going to be some credits and some cutscenes that you can't skip. I've obviously cut it down just for the sake of the time in the video, but you'll get the Life is Worth Living achievement for getting the good ending. So basically, for the next couple of minutes, you're going to get credits, and you're going to get this scene eventually as well. So it'll be basically credits, and then it'll be a bit of dialogue with a box of kittens, and then you'll get that last scene before we get back into the new game, the main menu. So we're just going to now click on a new game. We basically just have to get the bad ending now, which only takes... Well, it takes about a minute to get there, and then it takes about 5 minutes of sitting around not touching the controller to actually unlock. So, that's nice. So, once we get onto the train, obviously we're not going to need to speak to people. We're just going to dart all the way to the right until we get to our seat, and then we get to the ghost train. And again, when we get here, we're going to go to the right. We're going to speak to Mrs. Testy-Cheeked Potato Head, whatever you want to call her. And basically, if you didn't read through the conversation the first time, she basically gives us two choices. Have a little chat with everyone and, you know, get all their stories before we get to the end. Or we can just go back to our seat because we don't like ghosts, and we can just wait it out for 5 minutes, because that is exactly what we're going to do. So there she is. Hello. And there we go. So that's it then. So again, speak to her. Again, she's going to give us the choice. We're going to then just simply head back to the left and take our seat. And you may as well just go for a pee, or, you know, go get yourself a drink or something, because for the next 5 minutes, you're just going to be sitting down doing nothing. So, of course, I've actually obviously edited it. I'm going to edit this bit down. You know, you don't want to watch me doing nothing for 5 minutes. Or do you, if it's with my face and I'm just drinking beans out of a mug or something? You know, the pure British way. I know all Americans have probably had a heart attack or a stroke listening to that. Drinking beans out of a mug, beans on toast? Brrr. Disgusting. Give me biscuits and gravy any day. Now, I tried biscuits and gravy, okay? I put a digestive with some gravy granules in and it tasted like crap, okay? Jesus. If you're going to call it a scone with thick soup, call it a scone and thick soup. Don't call it biscuits and gravy. I might have messed up right there. Anyway, once, what's her name? Vivi has had a vivid dream and she is back to the real world. You're just going to go back through this bunch of dialogue stuff and the final achievement will unlock. I'm afraid of ghosts. I say final achievement, there is one more achievement, and as usual, any game, the game will actually end there though, but annoyingly, what will happen is, the final achievement for unlocking all achievements won't unlock. I don't know why developers continue to put that in the game when it doesn't unlock the first time, so you'll need to completely quit out of the game, and as we start up a new game, the achievement should unlock as soon as we get onto the train. No pain when you're on the train when you're starting a new game. You see what I mean, man? Brr. There it is. So, all achievements, all done. So, there it is. So, thank you so much for watching again, guys and gals. And I shall see you in the next one. Biggest of loves.